up in the low 70s in a lot of spots. And don't take for granted low 70s this time of the year. Average high is 67. Get to 72 in Portland, 74 in Portsmouth. We should be able to get to about that tomorrow, maybe just a tad bit cooler. Rest of tonight is mostly clear to partly cloudy to start, and then we end up clouding up well after midnight. And by tomorrow morning, I think there's a pretty good deck of clouds along the coast, but as you head farther inland, there's some breaks in the cloud cover. All of us start to erode that cloud cover through the middle of the day, and I think tomorrow afternoon is really nice, much like today was. We see a lot of sunshine, upper 60s to around 70 degrees. Isolated sprinkle, probably confined to the mountains and northern Maine. Most of us should be able to stay dry. As I mentioned before, the overall pattern is actually kind of unsettled, but it doesn't really come to fruition that much here. Just a couple of scattered showers around. Same deal on Wednesday. A front tries to come through. Certainly see some additional clouds because of that. Temperatures in the mid 60s and just isolated sprinkles around. Nothing all that consistent or heavy as far as rain goes. Once that front gets to our south, which will happen on Wednesday night, we'll have a cooler, crisp air mass for one day on Thursday and then go back to the mid 60s or maybe a little bit warmer on Friday. So overall, the week looks pretty good. Temperatures stay relatively mild and we don't see all that much rain going on. So that front comes through and it kind of pushes away some of the mild air, but not all of it. We're in good shape on the back end for Thursday and into Friday, and then high pressure builds in over the weekend. It may be a little bit cool to start, but we should end up around 70 by Saturday afternoon. And then the focus, of course, shifting to the south, which is where Hurricane Ian is, and what happens with what's left of that storm. Let's dive into what's going on with that storm, which is the latest computer models. This is a track showing all the different computer models. We call it a spaghetti plot. Has pretty good agreement that this storm will make landfall somewhere around the west coast of Florida or into the panhandle here. And the reason that's a problem is it brings Ian on a track just west of the coastline. And that's kind of a worst case scenario for a place like Tampa. If this model, which is the European model, verifies, this is a really bad setup for them because it allows Ian to stay out over the ocean and maintain at least some of its strength as opposed to coming inland and losing some strength, but it still puts them in the quadrant with the strongest winds as well as the biggest storm surge. Now, initially the winds will be blowing that water in the direction that doesn't flood, but eventually the winds will turn and push that water onshore. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's Wednesday night, Thursday morning. At this point, it is not looking good for the west coast of Florida. Now, where does Ian go after that? It looks like it gets pushed, suppressed by this ridge that's protecting us over the weekend and kind of gets absorbed and pushed out of here. So at this point, we don't even get any rain from Ian at all. Obviously, that's subject to change based on the models. We'll keep an eye on it. But I think that worst case scenario for us, we're looking at some rain early next week, but that doesn't factor into our weather throughout this 7-day forecast where things are looking good. Thursday, Friday, Saturday looks really nice. We might get a little bit of a backdoor cold front on Sunday, which could knock us down into the low 60s with some more clouds there, but we're back to a mixture of sun and clouds on Monday into the low 60s. So overall, for late September, heading into early October, pretty nice pattern.